Good evening, UK folks in Europe, and good afternoon to those in America.
Thank you for the love, thank you for the likes. We're here at House of Ilona office. It's my husband Peter Daly, for those who know him, and he will be interviewing me. Pray for me, y'all. Peter's got some questions that he's gonna go through, and if you've got any questions, please say them. We've got Maya, Amelia Ray, our girls, and my good friend and assistant Courtney here. So if you've got any questions, they'll see you on the screen and they will jump on and feed your questions back. So keep an eye on the screens if you can, Courtney. So over to you, Peter Daly.
All right. So here we go. So Camilla's written a book. Wow. All compiled and done in a lovely way. Fantastic. An amazing way. Right, so I'm going to fire. I'm not a radio DJ or proper TV interviewer or anything like that. But I've got some questions. I'm just going to ask them. And yeah. Right. So Camille.
Yes.
Why on earth did you write a book? Or what prompted you to write a book?
So I've always wanted to write a book. I don't know if there's anyone out there who has also wanted to write a book or has a desire to write a book, but I've always wanted to write a book, was never quite sure what I wanted to write the book about. And it was when I went to Bishop Wayne Malcolm, the business bishop, who also wrote one of the forwards to my book, as well as Evangelist Shonda London. But I went to Bishop Wayne Malcolm's retreat, which I highly recommend. And on that retreat, the idea came to me in terms of exactly what I need to write about. Literally, the headings for all the chapters just came, and it was just a flow. And so that was it. I was just like, now I know what I need to write about. And partway through writing the book this year, I actually realized that it was 10 years since I first got the name House of Ilona. So it's sort of like a 10-year business celebration, as well as putting my story down in the book. So that's how it came about.
Great. And my next question, how long did it take you to put your thoughts, gather your thoughts and experiences into writing?
So when I first started to, like I said, I went on this retreat and all the chapters and all the ideas came to me. And I would say it was probably about 3 weeks of waking up at like 4 or 5 in the morning and just writing and writing and writing till maybe school run and had to take the girls to school and then back, and I'm writing. And it was about 3 weeks of that. It was really, really intense. And I was actually being asked to speak more. So obviously I know my story because I know where I've been. Bless you, Bishop Malcolm. I see him on Instagram. I know my story. I know all about my story and where I've been, but actually writing it down in a like succinct way also prepared me for these talks that I was giving. I was like, chapter 7, I'll speak about chapter 2 at that event. And so it was really great to write my story and just to write it in a flow and write it in a way for other people to read, which I'd never done before. Right. So that's really how I compiled it.
Good. So, all right, I'm running out of questions.
It's going to be a short interview, people.
We've
got some questions online. Thank you, Courtney.
There's a question here. Okay, this is a good question. Good question. Should we answer it now or after?
We can answer it now. So the question's from Marie Reed. Thank you.
So this is going to interrupt my questions, but Lord. I think we should go with these questions because you guys are live. Like this is happening right now. So you take priority. Yes, the customer's always right. Yeah, the client comes first. Right. So from Marie Reed, in your book you say, and I quote, "We feel like we're waiting on God, but He's waiting on us."
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. So there's so many times that we say things like, I'm waiting on God, or God is trying to tell me X, Y, Z.
Oh dear.
God isn't trying to tell us. God can speak clearly. It's usually us that's trying to hear. Right. And so
he that haven't ear,
he that haven't ear, preach it, Peter. And so I really do feel like it's not us it's not God that's waiting. It's not us that's waiting on God. It's him that's waiting on us to take the step. A lot of the times he's already given us the word, and it's literally like we need to step out. Jesus has said, come. And it's us like, yeah, but I'm not sure. And are you sure this is what you want me to? But Jesus has said, come. So usually it's actually God that's waiting on us to do what he's already told us to do. Sometimes we're looking for the next word, and it's like, but have you done the last thing I told you to do? So yeah.
True. Sorry, technical. Could you
just give me 1 second? We've got a technical glitch going on here. This is live and direct, people. It's live and direct. All right, sorry, just a moment. Get back on here. Excellent. You on? Brilliant.
Right, so another question. How much have you drawn, how much have you drawn from your upbringing, your career and church ministry to compile a book of this depth and grandeur? Try and keep it short, please.
And can I just say that Peter's probably, he may have read this book more than me. He's my proofreader, one of the many. And so when he says great depth, he knows he's been through it a few times. So I've definitely drawn on my upbringing.
What in particular? Like when you used to get beaten?
Well, I feel like all of this, and even in my like acknowledgements and thanks, all of this and everything that I am is an accumulation of everywhere that I've been. And so this book really focuses on the business and really in the last 10 years. But even when we had the 10-year celebration here at the office a few months ago, people were talking about stories about when I did like Dubai Fashion Week, which was before the 10 years of even starting House of Ilona, and school experience and college experience, all to do with fashion. So I just feel like all of my experience and everything is part of this, even though things may not be mentioned in detail, like about certain things in my upbringing. It's all an accumulation of who I am.
Yeah. How about the ministry aspect? Ministry, because it's not just your local church when you was growing up in Croydon.
Yeah.
But,
so
you know, around locally, nationally, internationally.
Yeah, definitely. In the very first page, I went mention the Honourable Bishop Norman L. Wagner, and you know, first starting to hear about purpose and that God has a purpose for my life, and you know, it was so powerful, realizing that I was created for a purpose. And so definitely all of those Pentecost PIP, those Pentecost in Perspective experiences, the conferences we used to go 2 years ago, as well as, you know, the church I grew up in, my forever covering my uncle and auntie, Pastor Winston Christine Carter, through them, and also even in the last 10 years in business, our pastor was Pastor Winston Carnegie, and he was such a gem in that he really spoke into my life as an entrepreneur, which can be rare, to have a pastor that understands in that way and really speaks into your life and into your business. I see the thumbs up. Thank you so much for the loves and the likes online. Yeah,
so what was going through your mind as you started writing the first chapter?
So writing the first chapter was like therapy. It was beautiful. It was just flowing out of me. I was able to tell my story. I was able to move through the timeline. I was talking about my dad, who had given me the middle name Ilona. He's out. It's been 11 years since he's passed away, but it was really powerful, just kind of writing that first chapter and talking about my story and talking about stepping out on faith on things that I believe that God said, and then things that didn't happen when I thought they were meant to happen, and it was really powerful. And I got to the end of chapter 1 and I was like, I've done it. I'm done. I've got nothing else to write. And I really wasn't quite sure what else I was going to write after chapter 1. And chapter 1 was a beautiful experience, but I thought that I was done until more inspiration started to come. And I remember 3 weeks after going to Bishop Malcolm's retreat, I called him up so excited. I was like, Bishop, I've been writing non-stop, and it's been 3 weeks and I've written 20,000 words. And he was like, very good. go and do 35,000. I was like, Bishop. And he really pushed me, and it was tough and it was stretching, but really a really good experience. Have we got another online question?
Online question, Genevieve Silver. How did you stay motivated writing?
I set myself a deadline. If anyone's been following my journey, the book launch was August, and then it was September, and then it was October, and it's finally happened. It was actually last week too. So I have been setting myself deadlines, because it felt like it could have been a never ending. Even now I'm like, maybe I should have pulled it back and added this and added that. But I just felt like I needed a deadline. I needed to stop at some point so that I could complete the project. And keeping myself motivated, definitely the deadlines were keeping me motivated. Definitely all of the different expectations that now were on, that people were expecting me to do certain things. They were expecting, I'm telling people I'm writing a book, they're like, when's it coming out? So all of that pressure, which I needed, kept the pressure on and kept me motivated throughout.
That's great.
Courtney,
That's
do
great.
I need to put that one back on? It's still on, bro.
Right. So like working the church and, you know, ministry, because church, well, from where you're coming from, it's normally, you know, preaching, witnessing, teaching, and that's it, really. So where does fashion design come into it, and where does book writing?
So I remember being at these conferences in the States, and Pentecost in Perspective. It was an annual conference every September that Bishop Norman L. Wagner would put on, and I remember watching the women preachers and just enamored, just in awe, like, wow, listen to them preaching, listen to this word. And I should be writing notes, right? But I'm designing and sketching what I feel like these women of God could be wearing. And so fashion has always been there. It's always been part of who I am. I went to the London College of Fashion, got a very creative family, a sister who's a graphic designer, a sister who's a photographer. My dad was a painter and decorator, very creative family. And so fashion design has always been in there. It's always been a passion of mine. And so it came very naturally.
Great. Right, awesome. Right, so this is like a twofold question. So I'd like to elaborate. I think.
Sorry, shout out to DJ G. He says hi, Auntie Cam Cam. That's what my nieces and nephews call me.
Yeah, so like a twofold question in the title. Can you elaborate on finding? So what are you, or what are we, or the reader, like? What are we looking for? So expand on that, please. If you remember, why did you use the word divine and not spiritual?
Okay. So my husband here studied philosophy, so this question is kind of deep. Music philosophy. So finding divine flow, like the title, I feel like it just came to me. It just hit me straight away. I'm writing and it's like, what is this book going to be called? And I was just like, Finding Divine Flow. Yes. But it felt too easy. You know, sometimes God gives us something and it's like, no, that was too easy. It must be harder. let me keep trying. So I literally went back to the drawing board and was like, maybe it's not Finding Divine Flow. Let me look into something else. And so I went back to the drawing board and I was like, I like the idea of one word as a title or 3 words. And so I was like, what is this book about? It is definitely about a journey. It's about seeking. The subtitle is Seeking, Finding and Flowing in Purpose, an Entrepreneurial Journey. So it was definitely about seeking and looking for something, and divine, definitely because God is at the center. So even the fact that the divine is in the center of the 2 words, and then flow, because for me, when I'm flowing, I'm dangerous. But it is about finding, and it's not like I found divine flow, I reach, I'm here. Sometimes I find it and sometimes I lose it. I got to find it again. So thank you for the love. So it's definitely about finding that divine flow in life, in business, and how I bring God into everything that I'm doing. And so when I went back to the drawing board and I really went in and I really started to eliminate different words, and I came back to finding divine flow. And so this is the title of the book. I hope you like it. And findingdivineflow.com, that's where you can find the book. And there's a journal coming out, which I won't talk too much about, but it's definitely coming soon.
Wow, excellent. Yeah, I only got a few questions left, probably 3. So, when did you realize, apart from art, you're in the arts industry, that literature and now public speaking was a part of your makeup?
From a young age, I've always been like speaking in church and been interested in words and telling stories, and so it's always been in there. But one of my 3 keys that I give everywhere I go is about focus, balance, and consistency. And so I feel like for the last 10 years, I've been really, really laser focused, and I'm so creative. Like there's so many different things that I want to do, and that I feel like I could be doing, but I feel like God gave me this idea for this fashion label, House of Ilona clergy wear, and I just wanted to focus. And so having 2 children, our girls are now 6 and 9, but for the last 10 years, having the 2 babies and focusing on the business. So I've really, really focused on this business. And at this 10-year point where things are just turning over nicely, the business systems are in place and business is flowing really well, I just feel like God is allowing me to now stretch out and into writing this book, because some of my time has freed up because business is going so well and it's turning over itself, and it's freeing up my time because we've got certain things in place now. So it just left me time to be able to write the book and to be able to create a journal and be able to do different things and coaching and public speaking. And so I feel like the literature and the words have always been there, but I have been focused on the business, and now I'm starting to branch out a little bit, and it feels good.
Wow, good. Just in terms of writers, and you read so many books and have so many audio books. Just thinking like
there was a little side shade right there, you know, because I've got a lot of audiobooks, a lot of books.
Probably more than shoes.
I definitely have more books than shoes, 100%.
Maybe more than bags.
Probably more than bags and shoes. but in terms of books, it's been huge for me over the last 10 years. Listening to books mainly and reading books.
Yeah. So according, to the flow of your book, like who are your contemporaries in this field of work then?
There are a few. There are a lot more coming up, especially on Instagram and stuff like that. You see so many Christian entrepreneurs coming up, and it's great because there are so many entrepreneurs and people who teach and inspire and everything else. But a Christian entrepreneur that will teach, inspire, and motivate. That's what I'm starting to see a lot more of now in the States, in the UK. So it's a very, very exciting time. And again, Bishop Wayne Malcolm, he's a Mordecai coach and very much teaching about being called to the marketplace. And this just feels like the time and season right now. So it's a really exciting time to be doing this.
Wow, awesome. Great. And does this book play a part in everyday society, or where does it fit in?
Definitely. Like I said, there are lots of books out there. There are lots of motivational and inspirational entrepreneurial books out there. But what I haven't seen much of is entrepreneurial books that also have the Christian angle. And there's so many books that you read and you're like, this sounds like it could be written by a Christian, but I'm not sure. And so I feel like this is the book that I wanted over the last 10 years. I wanted to read the word of God in something and pull out the juice that I can actually not just hear preached on a Sunday, but I can take it into my office on a Monday. Don't let me preach up in it, but I can take it to my office on a Monday. I can use the principle that I heard on a Wednesday afternoon when I've got a marketing meeting. I can actually apply the word of God in business, so that it's not just what I'm hearing on a Sunday, but it's actually like what I'm actually applying. So that's what I really wanted. I wanted this book over the last 10 years. I really pray it will be an inspiration to someone else. We got another online question.
Wow. Question by Reese. How do you take the first step to get out of the job you're in, not wanting to be there anymore?
Great question. The first thing that comes to mind is to prosper where you're planted. And so having a good attitude, even if it's somewhere that you don't want to be, having a good attitude, serving diligently. You may need that job because, you know, it's your livelihood and that's how you need to live. And so it's really important to prosper where you're planted and be productive where you are and have a good attitude where you are, but be working on your side gig at the same time. So be using your extra time. You know, maybe you can't be binge watching on Netflix. You need to be, you know, studying about your industry and hustle. You got to start putting that work in, start to be known for what you do. And that's very much what I did in the early days on my Facebook page. I was known for what I did. So I'm going fabric shopping, or I've just met with a client, and I would very much try to incorporate my work into like my social media and everything else. I was known for it. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've had people be like, "You're my friend's cousin's wife's sister's brother" from Facebook, and they knew that you did fashion. And so be known for what you do part-time till it doesn't even make any sense for you to work in your full-time job anymore, because your part-time work is now superseding your full-time work.
Awesome. Wow. Simeon Winter, what advice would you give someone who may be interested in writing their story?
Journal, write every single day. So when I went to write, I wasn't just like, I need to start this book. I was drawing from all these different places that I'd written. I use this journal app called Day One. It's just called Day One app. It's blue with white writing. I love it. And I've been using it for years. And so in that, because it's on my phone, it's on my iPad, it's on my laptop, I can like hashtag, so I'd like hashtag book. Like one day, this entry needs to be in my book. And so I had a good 200, maybe more, that I was pulling from the last few years. I was like, one day I'm gonna put this in my book, one day I'm gonna put this in my book. So write every single day. And the more you write, the more you'll find a flow, the more you'll start to learn your writing style. But you have to just get started and just start writing. Don't even worry too much about structure and everything else. Just start writing and it will come. It will come. Then you'll start to get ideas on.
Then you end up with one of these.
And then you'll start to get ideas on, actually, this is the chapter and this is the theme that I want to write about, and this is how I want to start it, middle, end. It will start to come. Thank you, DJ G. Thank you.
Right. Another question, Jeanette McCarthy. What is a Christian creative? And is everyone creative, or is it a specific gift from God?
Jeanette, you've gone deep on me, man. That was a lot of things. Okay, so the reason she's asking this as well is because my theme right now is very much about helping Christian creatives launch and market their dreams. And so I believe everyone is creative. We were made by the creator of heaven and earth, breathed into us his creativity. And so we create. It don't matter if you're an accountant and you feel like I'm not in a create, you're still creative. You can create with them numbers, baby. And so I believe that we are all creative, and a Christian creative is who I definitely feel like this is targeted to. And yes, they are people in creative fields. So it could be music, like my husband Peter, fashion, photography, graphic design, you know, those kind of creative fields. But I believe everyone is creative, so it's relevant for anybody ready to launch. If there's something in your heart that you want to do, if there's something you've already started. I talk really fast when I get excited. I'm really sorry.
Well, there's slam. Remember slammer? What does it do? Words as well?
No. I'll slow down.
Slow down.
Really? So, as I was saying, yeah, no matter who you are, a book like this could inspire you. People are laughing at you. A book like this could inspire you to start something if you're already doing something. There's so many stories and books that I've read and stories that I've heard, and there's just something in someone's story that maybe I needed in that moment. And so it may not be the whole book that's a huge encouragement to you, but it could be something. There could be a gem, even in something that we're saying today. There could be a gem that's like, that's what I needed. I'm going to keep going. That's what I needed. I know what to do next.
Great. Jeanette McCarthy again. Who do you want to reach with this book? And also, what do you want them to take away?
Good question, Jeanette. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's one of my questions.
Yeah, that's one of his questions, Jeanette.
Great.
So who do I want to reach? As I said, Christian creatives. That's definitely my focus. And I feel like it's really important to have a focus and have a niche and have a specific target. I think that's really important in business and marketing. And obviously you're targeting this person, but there are other people definitely that will be reached. So as far and wide as it can go, whoever could be encouraged or inspired by it is who I want to reach and impact.
Because I remember me growing up in church, like you don't really, it's like ministry is seen as one thing, and then almost a career is seen as something different. So have you amalgamated them? Or,
definitely.
Or is it career versus ministry versus career, or not? Or
I feel like it's both for me. My slogan for House of Ilona, my fashion label, is helping you look good on the outside is my business, but helping you feel good on the inside is my heart. And that's what House of Ilona is all about, helping a woman of God look good on the outside, but feel good on the inside. So I feel like the business part of it is the clothing, is the clergy dresses and blouses that we do. www.houseofilona.com. Shameless plug right there. So I definitely feel like the business is helping people look good on the outside. But the ministry element of the business is helping women feel good on the inside. So I'll jump on Facebook Live and we'll pray, or there'll be scriptures. There's so much encouragement because for my target audience, and that's really important to know who your target audience is. I feel like my target audience is women in ministry. I feel like there's so much demand that's on them. I feel like people are pulling from them all the time. And so I feel like I come alongside, and you was talking about upbringing, and the church I grew up in, I was an armor bearer. And so in terms of this woman in ministry, I would like help her and assist her, spend time with her, and help her when she was out ministering. And I almost feel like I've come alongside almost like an armor bearer for women in ministry, like to help and assist them. And I like to come alongside and, almost metaphorically while they're getting dressed, encourage them in the Lord. After they finish ministering, encourage them and pray for them and lift them up.
Great, excellent. I have one question left, and that's it really. No more questions? But,
we've got more questions? It's 8 o'clock, we've been on for half an hour. There's me thinking it's been 10 minutes. Look at us.
Yeah. For you, honey. Well, yeah, so basically, you are now a published author.
You know what? This is something I've always wanted to be, and I have been saying maybe for the last 2 years, like in my daily declarations, I'm an author. And it's happened! Yeah. So listen, declarations are powerful. What you say and confess and declare and decree, it will come to pass.
Excellent.
Good or bad. So watch what you're saying.
Yes. Someone's asking me about my book. That's hilarious.
Tables turn now. Tables turn.
Della?
Oh,
soon come.
And that's patois for it's coming soon.
This is Andrew Louise.
Andrew.
I have a question. You're a wife, a mum, and an entrepreneur. Really? Right. How did you find time to write a book too? Remember your wife?
It's a long pause. Did you feel that? Did you feel that, people? Did you feel that? The wife?
And entrepreneur.
How did I find time? I took the time. extracted the time out of my schedule. I made the time. And I think because I've wanted to write a book for years, I've tried so many times and not gotten anywhere. When this happened and when the idea came, when it was like, I know what I need to write, I know what I need to write, I just had to make it happen. So like I said, I'm up at 4 or 5 in the morning and I'm writing and writing and writing and pulling stuff together. We get the girls off to school and then I'm literally still writing for maybe another hour or 2 or 3. And that was for a solid 3 weeks. And yes, there were some other things. I wasn't in my office like I would normally be at 9 a.m. during those 3 weeks. And I could definitely see that, you know, things weren't flowing like they needed to. But I just had to do it. And I just had to take the time out and get it done. And it was an intense 3 weeks. And then I think for the next few months, it wasn't as intense at all. I just kind of found time and, you know, and did it here and there. But I did just take the time out for 3 weeks and just, it was just pouring out and I just had to just let it flow. So yeah, there probably wasn't great balance in that time, but I got a book.
Yeah, awesome.
Are there any other questions or comments or anything else? But thank you so much for joining us on this live online book launch, Finding Divine Flow. And again, are you just going to keep going? Okay. Sell. FindingDivineFlow.com. Go on Amazon. It's on Kindle.
You see that? Yeah.
You can tell Peter's warmed up now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so. Thank you for everything. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for giving me the time and space to write. Yeah. Thank you for proofreading. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to let me do my audiobook in your studio soon. Hashtag, there's lots of people that now heard that.
Yeah, we need to finish that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the audiobook's coming soon. I can't wait to read
So like,
it.
you know when you're talking, right, and then, you know, people like,
swallow.
And the swallowing thing, and yeah, we need to work on that. I need to edit those things out.
Wow, this is still live.
Yeah. Nah, she's a good speaker. She speaks good on, you know, you got a good radio, you got TV voice, you got, yeah. Good.
Thank you.
So we're gonna finish that.
Thank you. One of the things that I wanted to share from the book actually was something that I wrote in here about your doubts. And while writing this book, I definitely had times of just doubt, like, I don't know if I should be doing this. Is it really needed? Does anyone need it? I had a lot of those moments. And then what I realized is actually these doubts is the enemy panicking about the move that I'm about to make. And so I started to address the doubts. So one of the things was, the thoughts was, does anyone need this anyway? Like, do I need to finish it? Should I just do it for my own purposes? And I thought, that's the enemy panicking about this book coming out. And I flipped it. And so I flipped that thought and turned it into, I know my story already, but there's so many people out there who haven't heard my story. They may have heard similar stories, but they haven't heard my story. And so I was like, this has to come out. And every doubt thought, I flipped it. Because I was like, you know what? That's the enemy panicking. So that's a little nugget from the book that I wanted to throw out there. I really love the title of chapter 2. It's called Processing the Process. Or if you're in America, it's Processing the Process. And again, about journaling and just understanding your story. Another one is about, another chapter talks about being ready to press play, and just, are you really ready for what you're praying for? And that's definitely where I found myself at one point, just really praying to God for, you know, certain things in business. And God was like, yeah, but are you ready to press play? And I was like, no. Because actually, if you answered me right now, I'd be scuttling around trying to do research and find information. And so that just has me at the point of always being ready for what I'm actually praying for. So that's just some nuggets that I wanted to throw out there. But findingdivineflow.com, it's available on that website. It's available at houseofilona.com, and it's available on Amazon.
Awesome. Great.
Are we done?
Cool. Yes.
Thank you all so much for joining us live.
Yeah,
it's great to see.
Screen. Like, let me leave so soon.
Don't leave, don't go. Great great to see so many of you all on here. Thank you so much. Great to be here. Thank you. Please order the book. Please enjoy it. Give me feedback. Let me know what you thought of it. If you have any questions, at CamilleDaly.com. I am opening up for some coaching. If anybody, you know, wanted to spend an hour on like a Zoom call just to coach through any issues or things in business or purpose or anything you wanted to do. But we're going to jump off now because I could stay talking all night. It's been great to be on here. And thank you all and good night. Good night. Thank you.
What happened to your computer?
It's still live.
Oh yeah, it's still going. But I'm not sure what happened to